Hello and welcome to the AI Business Leadership Podcast, where we speak to business leaders about all things artificial intelligence. I'm your host, Laura Nelson, Head of Product at Solved by AI, and today's guest is Aarti Samani, CEO of Shreem Growth Partners. Hello, Aarti.
Hello, Laura. Thank you for having me on the show.
Great to have you here. So, Aarti is the CEO of Shreem Growth Partners, which is an AI consulting firm. She's a leader in AI driven business growth with over 20 years of experience in technology. Today, we're going to hear about her journey into leadership, and we're also going to talk about how AI is relevant to different types of businesses and how AI can be incorporated into operations to drive growth, and Aarti's advice for business leaders looking to do so. So thanks very much for joining us today. Could you share with our listeners just a little bit more about your background and what brought you to your current position as CEO of Shreem Growth Partners?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really pleased to be here on the show with you and very happy to share my journey and my insights into AI strategy for business growth. So I have always worked in technology and I've been lucky to be in roles that encompass strategy, product marketing, and commercialization. The first part of my career was in investment banking technology, where I led initiatives to introduce one of the first automated algorithmic trading systems for equities desk. At the time, it was not called AI, it was machine learning. So we were working very closely with the quant analyst functions within banks, etc., to really drive automation in algorithmic trading, but with a human oversight. The second half of my career, I've been leading fast growth AI technology companies. So I have been, they've been all very different applications, solving large problems, utilizing different aspects of AI. So AI is not just one thing; it's a constellation of different techniques, different technologies like natural language processing, simulated reality, computer vision, etc. So I've worked in applications or in products that leverage all of these technologies. I've worked in those businesses which are high growth, taken them internationally, scaled them, and commercialized the products. So AI is not really new for me. It has been something I've been working with all my career. And that positions me very uniquely to partner with organizations and help them with their AI strategy. AI generated risks, and more widely in organizational designs to make sure that they have the right talent in place to really benefit from the AI transformation that we are seeing in the world today. So it naturally then led me to start Shreem Growth Partners, where I am able to provide services in strategy for growth, in risk management, and AI generated risk awareness training, in org design, etc.
So it was something that you have been involved in for a long time and has now become the focus of your business.
Exactly. Yeah. Responding to market demand, bringing together, harnessing all the experience, the 20 plus something years of experience that I've had in technology, in corporates, in startups. So it kind of positions me very nicely to be able to help organizations.
So when we were having our pre-recording discussion, I think one of the first things that you said was that nowadays every business is an AI business. So could you just elaborate a little bit on what that means and how businesses can kind of adapt to that reality?
Yes, of course. So, over the past 15 years or so, AI has been gradually introduced into different aspects of our life, both personally as well as professionally. We may not always realize it, but actually, we are using AI all the time. So, whether when writing emails, the phrase is suggested to us, we're using AI. When we run our marketing campaigns and drive traffic through our website, follow our ideal customer profile across different digital channels, we're allowing Google, we're allowing LinkedIn and other platforms to utilize AI. When our finance teams use cloud based accounting software for bookkeeping, they're using AI. So, in our CRM systems, in our business intelligence platforms, our cloud storage, everywhere we use AI in some form, sometimes advanced, sometimes generative, sometimes traditional. It really varies on the application, on the tool, on the use case, etc. But we are using artificial intelligence in some form in our business. Our customers, our partners in the supply chain, logistics, all across, it is infused in our business processes. So just as every business now is a technology business, every business now is also an AI business, in my opinion.
So, I guess on that note, then, how would you advise companies that are not traditionally tech focused at all, how they can integrate AI into their operations and how that can drive growth and innovation?
Yeah, now I get this question a lot actually. And remember, AI is an enabler, it is an accelerator. It does not replace business strategy. It's not a replacement for your goals, your visions, your overall business story where you want to take your organization. AI helps you execute the strategy, it helps you realize that goal. It's not a replacement for it. So, the first set of questions that we should be asking are, what do we want to accomplish and how will we accomplish it and in what time frame? This is sort of the basics, right? That's the first set of questions that as an executive team you should be thinking about it. And then it's a case of analyzing where can AI help us to accomplish this efficiently, cost effective, and with minimal time to market. So no matter what your business strategy, we want to get to that as quickly as possible, as cheaply as possible, and as efficiently as possible, right? And that's where AI can help. So logically, this then leads to identifying opportunities for automation, for assistance, for advancement, to give us competitive growth, etc. So when I'm speaking to the clients, I'm always guiding them through a logical thought process, which then leads to AI led growth. So whether you are a technology business or not, even tech businesses have to go through the same thought process. They still have to ask the same questions. What is our business strategy? What do we want to accomplish? In what time frame? And then how it breaks down into quarterly executables. And that's where AI comes in.
So, it's not something that's sort of a big, scary technical thing. It's actually what you're saying there. It comes down to just some of the fundamentals of business strategy, really, as well.
Yeah, exactly. Strategy 101. You cannot get over that. You have to remember the fundamentals of that, and then you layer in AI. And AI, as a you need a technology strategy as well. So the overall part of the business growth plan or a business strategy, the technology is one of the layers that comes in there. Then you have to kind of think about, okay, what investment do we need to make in technology? What type of technology? The culture, the mindset, the infrastructure, the security, cybersecurity. It is they are all parts of the business strategy layer. It's not a one thing on its own.
And so I know that one of your key areas of focus is on using AI to solve real world problems. Could you give some examples of where you've seen successful applications of AI to solve problems in real world businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So problems and therefore applications or solutions vary across sectors, they vary across geographies, right? So Laura, have you ever wanted to understand your tax code on your payslip or wanted information on your local council's policy on recycling, right? And if you have, you so you know how painful this whole thing is. Well, the Estonian government has deployed a fantastic network of virtual assistants which are powered by conversational AI. So the citizens of Estonia can easily access information and services like this. It's one of the great examples of solving a real world problem with AI. The amount of time we lose in just harvesting basic information that's not a value add, but it's something that we need to do in our life. And if AI can help us solve that, there's so much productivity, time, that is saved, time that can be invested better elsewhere. So, this is one example of solving a real world problem. The other example that I can perhaps give you is, have you ever called your bank with a query on your statement to query a transaction or to request some kind of card services? And have you ever caught in that loop of automated voice instructions like press button 1, press button 2, and it has every single option except the one that you are calling for, right? I have been Right. And there is no way to get out of the loop. You just keep going and going again and again until you are exhausted and then you try a different avenue. Well, a very large bank in Europe I was speaking with recently are now deploying AI to personalize services to their customers so that based on the account activity, the transactions, how we are operating in the banking environment, whether it's on desktop or mobile, they can reliably anticipate a few different options or the reasons why this particular individual might be calling the bank. So now you don't have to rely on the 15 different automated options, which doesn't have the option that you need, but actually the bank might give you 3 or 4 different options, which are very much tailored to the activity that you are that they are observing on your account, and therefore you have a higher likelihood of hitting the right mark, and they are able to answer your query very quickly, they are able to solve your problem quickly, leading to no or less frustration on the customer's part, optimized time for the bank, etc. So it's really another example of how we can solve a real world problem, which is reducing friction in delivering services to your customers. Then we can think about sort of more wider issues. So I know that we can now predict when an elderly person is likely to experience a fall based on the notes that their care providers input into the system. So if you can predict when this person is likely to have a fall, that means you can actually take preventative intervention. So just imagine this improves the quality of life of this individual manyfold. It reduces burden on the health service because they are not admitted in hospital anymore. So this is another example of solving a real world problem which we were not able to until recently because we didn't have the capability to do this. And then on an even wider scale, the biotechnology and biosciences, the pharma sector as a whole, is now able to accelerate research in cancer treatment, for example. The number of people who are impacted by cancer even today and therefore lose their lives to this kind of illness, they don't have to go through that. They can now personalize cancer treatment, so it's not killing the cells that are good cells in your body, but actually targeting what needs to be eliminated from your body. So, if think about all the different problems that we have not been able to solve or we have not been able to help our population with. Now, AI gives us the ability to do that. So, that's what I mean by solving real world problems with AI.
I suppose in most of those cases as well, the data has always been there, or that most of the data has been available to us. It's just you need something like an AI to be able to take all of that and process it all and output with some kind of decision or some kind of action from that a human just can't do.
Exactly. It's we now have the compute power, we have the hardware and the technology that allows us to really centralize all of these disparate data points and process it to draw insights which are actually meaningful and can be done something with it without having to wait for a long time to get the results that we need.
Mhm. And so, obviously, any discussion around AI always has to include ethics. How do you approach the ethical considerations that are necessary when developing and supporting the development of AI technologies?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, every application that uses data in some way, ethics cannot be an afterthought. Safe, ethical, responsible deployment of AI or responsible work with data cannot be an afterthought. It has to be very much part of the process, part of the thought process, part of the design, etc., right from the beginning. So I would always, again, start with the question why. If there is ever any shadow of doubt in your mind whether we should be doing this or not, then ask the question, why are we doing it? To what end goal? To what purpose? And then where are the breakpoints? Where is there a likelihood of being of misuse of this data or this information? Are we disrespecting the individual whose data we are working with, etc.? So these are some, again, basic fundamental human questions that we should be asking. As humans, we our goal should always be the good, deploying these technologies, working with data for the ultimate good of the human race, for the ultimate good of the customers or the people that we are trying to serve with this technology. You then have things like bias, the algorithm risks that are input into our business as a result of utilizing any kind of technology, but specifically when we are working with data. So, extremely important to keep an eye on that, to really understand why we are doing what we are doing, the implication on the other side to the human who is being impacted by this technology. There's also very important to make sure that you have your cybersecurity shored up. So ethics is not just about doing the right thing, but it's protecting people who are trusting you with their data, who are trusting you with that with their information. So if an organization is in the business of leveraging AI, leveraging customer data and information in order to then provide better service, better access, etc., it becomes their primary responsibility to ensure that they have all the measures in place to protect this information, the customers, from any kind of AI generated risks or any kind of cyber risks.
That kind of crossover then between the ethics and the cybersecurity. I think a lot of people would almost they see them as quite separate things, but actually when you're processing data on that level and when you're sort of transforming that data and potentially making it into something that is more sensitive or that is more meaningful when you have an AI, that's when part of your ethical considerations become cybersecurity and keeping that data safe.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It becomes, they are not separate at all. Everything is integrated and interrelated. And actually, AI does that to us. It enforces us to work cohesively. It enforces us to remove silos, whether it's silos within our data or whether it's silos within our business processes or the overall architecture. Therefore, responsible, safe, and secure are not three different things. They are all integrated, part of the same thing.
So, you obviously have quite extensive experience in product management and business strategy. What advice would you give to other leaders looking to leverage AI for strategic growth for their businesses?
Yeah, sure. So again, don't forget strategy 101, right? So start with the goal, the overarching business strategy, and then work out what investments are required in technology so that you can have competitive advantage. You can unlock the latent markets which you otherwise did not have access to as a business, and so you can scale globally. Now, this requires, there are different layers to this. So the visual I often give, you will find this on my website as well, is a square based pyramid where the foundation of the pyramid is data and infrastructure. Without this, it's almost impossible to leverage AI. So get that foundation very strongly, very firmly in place. And then the central column of the pyramid is leadership and organization culture. If there is no leadership buy in, along with an AI led growth mindset, then you can expect to fail spectacularly in this journey. So get the data and infrastructure right, get the spine or the column, which is leadership and culture and mindset. This has to be it has to be driven top down, but also bottom up. So you have to bring your employees, your people on this journey with you. Otherwise, AI led transformation or any kind of AI initiatives will fail. Remember, worry about AI taking away their jobs. So, as leaders, as business leaders, along with making the investment in technology, along with making sure that you have a robust strategy, that you have a robust data and infrastructure in place, you have to make sure that you are bringing your people on the journey with you, that you are reassuring them that it's not just that you're not just doing this for profit, for revenue. You actually want to make sure that your people are skilled and that they will travel on this transformation program, on this AI led growth journey with you.
Again, probably good advice for any aspect of business or any aspect of strategy. You know, it's the same when you're considering AI.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. So AI is no different to any other business growth strategy. Absolutely. It just has multiple dimensions that we didn't need to worry about before. New dimensions um, like cybersecurity, enhanced investment in cybersecurity, a program for talent transformation. How do we reskill, upskill, deep skill our people so that they are ready for when we need those AI skills? So along with the technology deployment, we are running a talent transformation program as well. We are carving out budget, we are carving out time. If it's a publicly listed company, we want to manage shareholder expectation, because for a little while we may not be delivering the kind of profits that our shareholders are used to receiving from us. So it's kind of managing shareholder stakeholder expectation, managing board expectation, getting the board buy-in that allows us to really elevate our AI-led growth, the AI transformation program.
And something that we talk about a lot on this podcast is the very rapid pace of AI development. So, you know, all those things that you talked about would have to take into account, you know, the very quickly changing AI sort of space and technology space. Would you advise a business to stay agile, stay adaptable in their AI strategies, and make sure that they stay competitive and relevant in such a quickly changing landscape?
Yeah. So I commonly observe an obsession with perfect strategy over a period of time. So, with the pace that which we are experiencing the change, if you continue with this perfect strategy mindset, you risk breaking your business. And the visual or the analogy I often cite is, think of a tall tree. So a tree, a very tall tree in the middle of high winds and storm, if it remains rigid, it will inevitably snap. But if it's flexible and it sways with the wind, then it survives the storm, right? And the key in this analogy is to be rooted. So the tree sways, but the roots do not move. So I'm not saying that your goal has to change, that your time frame has to change, etc. All I'm saying is that you have to go with the pace of the change, and you have to be ready to change the direction if need. Otherwise, you either fall behind and you're not keeping up with the change, you're not leveraging the technology or the innovation, or you just become obsolete, right? And you have very many sunk costs because you haven't pivoted at the right time, you haven't pivoted in the right direction. So that notion of perfect strategy, I personally feel, does not exist more, and we shouldn't be fixated on that. We should be moving. We should have a strategy, but then we should be ready to be flexible and change the course with a view to getting to the same goal. The goal is not changing. The overall vision of the business is not changing. It's just the path of travel or the direction of travel might need to be changed. We might find shortcuts. We might find other ways of doing things. So I would I would recommend that remain flexible, remain adaptive, remain agile. Otherwise, it will become very difficult to navigate with rigidity.
There's strength in that flexibility, I guess, isn't there?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. Strength and flexibility.
And something I ask a lot of people on this podcast, just partly for my own benefit, is we're talking about the rapid pace of change of AI and how businesses can keep up. But there's a lot of content out there. There's lots of news and updates, podcasts. How do you keep up with what's going on in the world of AI in the spaces that are relevant for you? What's your kind of method for that?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Like we are consuming from a fire hose, we're drinking from a fire hose. There is so much information, and it's impossible to keep up with every piece of information all the time. Um, the key is to consume the information that is relevant for your piece of work. AI is huge. It's very wide, vertically, horizontally, etc. So where is your focus within the context of AI, within the context of your work, your business, etc., and consume that information. Cut out the noise, right? Because again, there is so much noise. You open any social media platform and you just see AI risk, AI fraud, AI new tools, new capabilities, new language models, new this, new that. And it's so easy to kind of get sucked in that vortex of information. So important to kind of take a step back, focus on the information that is relevant for you in your business, in your profession, and consume that whilst kind of leaving other things to people who need that. What are my sources of consumption? So I follow some people who are relevant for my work on LinkedIn, and they often give great quality content on LinkedIn. So by following their content, I'm getting the information I need, which then gives me the option to dive deeper into it, explore it further, or to kind of move on onto other things. Also, the works or the movements of the big tech firms, where they are going in either deploying or hiring senior leaders within their organization. So, for example, Microsoft recently hired a CEO of AI, Mustafa Suleiman, who was the co-founder of DeepMind. Amazon recently brought in Andrew Ng on their board of directors, who is one of the best minds we have in AI. So when you observe movements like this of what the large tech organizations are doing, it gives you an indication of where that business may be going, therefore what products can we expect to see coming out of that, and that gives us kind of an indication of the direction of travel. So that's one piece. The other piece is sector specific movements. So for example, I look at financial services as a sector, which is where I serve clients and where I operate a lot of the time. So I look at what the likes of Visa and MasterCard are doing, which is in the context of payment services, right? So are they making any acquisitions of note? Are they putting any senior leaders in place of note in the context of artificial intelligence? What is their strategy? Are they focused on security? Are they focused on accelerated payment services? Are they focused on some kind of cross-border type products, etc.? So that's another leading indicator for me personally. I look at a lot of analyst reports. So what's coming out of CB Insights, what's coming out of Gartner and Forrester, etc. So beyond the sort of public generated hype or media generated hype, it's kind of looking at the it's looking at data, it's looking at information, it's connecting all data points which are relevant for you to really paint a picture and create hypothesis of where the industry is going, where the market is going, and where the landscape, how the landscape is shaping up in the context of the work relevant for you.
Well, some great tips there. I'm going to have
Mhm.
a look at my feeds and see if I can put some of those into practice. So,
Mhm.
just finally, then to wrap us up, could you please share with us one prediction that you have for what artificial intelligence might be able to do for us in 10 years' time?
10 years is a very long time in artificial intelligence. So it's difficult to predict given how quickly we are moving and the direction of travel is so accelerated. But I always say I have my faith in the inherent human desire for the higher good. So in terms of where the technology is going, but what the technology can do for us. I expect to see us human beings leveraging AI to solve food production in the form of agri-tech, in the form of climate tech, etc. No one should be sleeping hungry, right? If we are moving so fast with technology, we should be able to solve the world food problem. I expect governments to be using artificial intelligence to improve the quality of life of their citizens. No one should be homeless. No child should be unsafe. We are seeing a lot of geopolitical conflict in different parts of the world. I would I would hope, I would expect global governments coming together to solve that problem, leveraging AI and technology. I expect business leaders to apply AI to use it a more equitable society in the kind of products that they are putting out in the market, in the kind of applications that they are leveraging artificial intelligence for. So, in terms of prediction, rather than looking into a crystal ball or looking looking into my teacup on where the technology would be moving, I would like to place my faith in humanity to apply whatever technology we have to elevate the lives of people, to elevate us as a human race.
That sounds ideal, really. Well, thank you so much, Artie, for speaking with me today and for sharing your insights and your expertise. It's been really interesting to hear about you and your leadership journey and your thoughts on how every business is an AI business, whether they realize it yet or not. And to chat about how businesses can effectively and ethically use AI to drive strategic growth. So, thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. I have very much enjoyed this conversation. You have asked some very thought-provoking questions, which led me looking deeper into my thought process and into the work I do. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. So that concludes this episode of the AI Business Leadership Podcast. Keep an eye on our socials for more conversations with leaders in business and AI innovation, and we'll see you next time.